Hello ninjas and ninjettes, and welcome to another episode of the Exposure Ninja Digital Marketing Podcast. My name is Tim Cameron Kitchen, best-selling digital marketing author and head ninja at Exposure Ninja. Now, crowdfunding is an increasingly popular way to fund a startup or significant expansion phases of business. And this week I wanted to bring in someone who has done just that. So Matt Lo has crowdfunded the growth of his fitness class business by raising capital to open a physical space. And I wanted to bring him on to talk both about the marketing he did during the campaign to make sure it's funded successfully, because a lot of campaigns go out and not many of them get funded. So I wanted to find out exactly what he did to make sure his campaign got funded. But I also wanted to ask him about his experience with crowdfunding in general and to get his opinion on what the experience was like for his company and what growth has been like since. So we talk all about where his business was before he did the crowdfunding, how he went through the process, how he marketed it, and he is very non-traditional in how he ran the marketing for his campaign. And then what's happened since, and we get a kind of bit of a feel for what he would do differently were he to do it again. Don't forget that you can head over to exposureninja.com/review to request a free digital marketing review and strategic plan from us. We'll spend about 30 minutes going through your website and your marketing as a video, send it over to you, no obligation. You can then follow the plan yourself, or you can ask for help with it if you like. So that's exposureninja.com/review. Anyway, without further ado, welcome to the show. So Matt, welcome to the show.
Thanks, man. Well, thanks for having me.
Cool. So take us back to the beginning. Where was your business when you first decided to do this crowdfunding campaign?
So we were doing outdoor fitness classes. So we were doing pay what you like fitness classes, which was, we were doing one a week. And then within a space of 6-7 months, we grew to 6 a week when I brought on 2 other trainers. And what it was, they were just fitness classes made up to make fitness more accessible for people, no matter what kind of financial background that they had. People came, and a lot of people paid £0. Some people paid £5, some people paid 10, 20. But yeah, it was just getting people back into fitness and giving them an option to work out. So that's where we were previously to actually crowdfunding. I was also personal training at the time, so I had a client base that I was training at a personal training studio in East London.
Okay, so you basically took the Radiohead approach to fitness classes.
Yeah, pretty much. So it was within that 6-7 months, we grew to 6 classes a week. So we were doing a shortage. So we were doing Allen Gardens. We did one in Herne Hill. We did one in Clapham. We did one in Clerkenwell. So I took on 2 more other trainers, and we were doing 6 a week. Okay, so the business was growing, but it was still at a relatively, startup phase basically. So I'm guessing there wasn't too much capital around, hence the desire to do the crowdfunding. No, absolutely. So, I mean, the desire to do crowdfunding was literally to see, it was an option to see, I kind of realized I live in London. Weather isn't great. We were doing outdoor classes at the time. How can we bring people indoors, but still keeping with our ethos? Because if you ran a business under a pay what you like model, I think anyone can do the math saying, there's no kind of steady stream of income there.
Yeah.
So it was more of a, build a business plan, work out, how can you actually make this business sustainable and get some form of money in.
Okay, so were you at that stage? Were you kind of committed to continuing with the pay what you like thing? You knew that was going to be part of the business for the foreseeable future.
I mean, absolutely. It was all about, with the pay what you like model. It was all about bringing something back to a community and creating a community and kind of giving people access to some form of fitness. Not everyone can afford to pay for a personal trainer or pay for a gym, but having that kind of every Saturday, they used to come to Allen Gardens at 9 o'clock in the morning. In that park itself, there used to be a lot of drunk people, and they were all around us. But everyone still came because they liked the community that we kind of created within that hour of time at 9 o'clock every morning on a Saturday. So I was very committed to it. I absolutely loved doing it, and it was great to just meet so many different people, because sometimes you had 10 people, sometimes you had 5 people, sometimes you had 20 people. It varied all the time.
Really interesting. So I think let's come back to the pay what you like thing. I've got some questions about how that fits into what you're up to now, but you decided to go for crowdfunding so that you could build, or so that you could have your own space to do these classes, right? So people wouldn't have to hang out with the drunk people, and there was a door to keep them out or whatever, or maybe you let them in, I don't know. Why did you identify crowdfunding as the way to finance this space, rather than, say, going to the bank and asking for a loan, or I guess a more traditional form of investment?
Yeah, I mean, to tell you the truth, crowdfunding was actually one of my last options. I built a business plan with my business planner, and I asked a few people if they were interested in investing, and I got turned down probably about 3-4 times. And then my brother actually turned around and said to me, why don't you try crowdfunding? And I was like, I've never ever thought about crowdfunding before. And then he talked to me he said, I'll be happy to give you a capital injection if you went down a crowdfunding route. So I was like, what do I have to lose? What can I gain? What can I lose out of this? So that's where the crowdfunding idea came from. So I kind of have my brother to thank for that, if anything.
And I guess that's the appeal of crowdfunding, right? What do I have to lose? If you launch a campaign and it doesn't get funded, you're exactly where you were anyway. If you get funded, awesome. It's a kind of no risk option, isn't it, I suppose?
No, absolutely. So your risks are quite minimal. I mean, you want to be successful in your crowdfunding campaign, because it goes out to so many people, but you literally put your pride aside and just hope for the best all the time.
Yeah, and I think you put your pride aside more than most, but we'll get into that. So,
absolutely.
Obviously, there's 2 different flavors of crowdfunding. There's the kind of Kickstarter thing where you're selling a physical product and you essentially selling your product before it's produced, right? But you took a slightly different approach, didn't you, and ended up giving away equity. So maybe you could take us down the path to how you decided to give away equity and how much you decided to give away.
Yeah, so in regards to equity, we gave away 30% in total, and we based it on the amount that we needed to actually crowdfund, and then we based it on how much, a percentage on how much our company valuation could actually be, because at that given time our company was still just a piece of paper, so people were just investing into an idea. So it would be very stupid for us to say our company is valued at £500,000, £500,000, £500,000, and it's just a piece of paper, it's just an idea. So we had to go through a relatively more sensible approach and value our company at £250,000. We pitched for £75,000 because that's how much we needed to get off the ground, which included things like building works, equipment, our down payment for the property that we took. And then based on that, it was 30% that we had to give away.
Cool. So 75k, and you hit your target, obviously, and you gave away 30%. So you weren't tempted to do the classic Dragon's Den thing of, even though your business is just an idea, go in and say, you know what, we're worth $1 million and we want 100 grand for 10%.
That just doesn't appeal to me whatsoever.
No, I don't think I've ever seen that approach work anyway. But how important, in using the platform that you used for crowdfunding, how important do you think it was to value the business appropriately? Is this something where people are looking at it as if they are a dragon? Are they looking at the valuation and the amount of equity they're getting, and are they making a decision, or do they just want to be involved in the business and they don't look too critically at the valuation?
I mean, the beauty of crowdfunding is that you can put anything from £10 to £10,000 in, and even beyond, right? So a lot of the times, your friends and family, or a lot of my friends via my WhatsApp list, they put down the £10 in, which was great. And for them, it was more of a case of just seeing that, showing a little bit of belief in the company. But for someone who put in £10,000, now they would look into the business plan a little bit more. They would have a look at your idea and say, okay, is this person investable? Because at the end of the day, they're investing in you. That yes, they're investing in your idea as well, but they are entirely investing in you as a person. So if for me to say that my company was valued at £250,000 meant that I actually put some thought into it and actually put some effort into it. And it's, it's a starting project. Whereas if I said it was valued at £1 million, then we're going, get out of here. I don't want to talk to this guy, So it was more of a, be sensible, approach this investment round. No matter who you're talking to, whether it's someone who's invested £10 or £10,000, be sensible about it.
Delusion is an unattractive quality in someone that you're investing in. Absolutely. So it's a really great point you make. So basically you could get people at quite a low level to invest and just take a punt because anyone can afford to lose 10 quid or whatever. But once you're going for the larger amounts, you really need to make a bit more of a business case. So the promotional material used in your campaign and that people on Kickstarter use is absolutely crucial, isn't it, to the success of the campaign? So how much thought did you put into how you presented your pitch on the crowdfunding website? Did you make a video? Did you use pictures? Like how did you make sure that when people landed on that page that it was a compelling proposition that you were making?
Well, I mean, Crowdcoop does very well in terms of helping you to ensure that your pitch is very attractive. So they kind of give you the basics of what you need. So they'll go through our various different questions. So they'll go through your market analysis, what the business idea is, why you started the business. And then they also say you must have a video. So there are some certain criteria that you must hit. You'll work with them for we worked with them for about a month and a half to 2 months in order to make our pitch very attractive and investment ready. And then we also worked on our video for around a month. So it went, 2 days filming, about 2-3 days filming, including other areas as well, and then putting it all together. So you need to make sure that your pitch looks very professional. It speaks about the business in just a few words, and you need to grab people's attention straight away.
And what were the key points? Because they always, whenever you watch Dragon's Den or something like this, they always want the little kind of sound bites, the summary of the market, the summary of the opportunity. What were the key messages that you really wanted to make sure people knew about your business so that you kind of stood out and so they got it immediately?
I wanted people to know about why we started in the beginning. If you cannot describe your business in a matter of a couple of words, then it's going to be hard for people to actually take a grasp of your business. So I think showing your belief and showing your why is very, very important, and giving them showing them a journey of what you want to do and how you want to kind of take this business forward. Because you want to, these investors, they'll be with you from the beginning, but they also want to see what the journey is going to be like as well.
Yeah, so you have to sell them a bigger picture, a bigger vision, I guess.
Absolutely.
Cool. So you work with Crowdcoop, you got all the promotional stuff on the site, everything's ready to go. Before the campaign goes live, what are you feeling? Are you nervous? Are you excited? Do you think that you're going to be successful? Like, what's going through your head?
Well, I didn't know they went live.
Okay.
So I just got an email saying, "Oh, it's live." I was like, "Oh, okay," and that was it. And so I'd love to be able to give you a better answer, Tim, but the truth is I didn't know, and it might have been because there was so much going on. Because you're so incredibly busy just making sure your pitch is right and going through your everyday life anyway.
Yeah. And
then suddenly it just goes on because an email comes on and goes, "Oh, your crowdfunding campaign is now live." And you're like, "Oh, okay, my crowdfunding campaign is now live. Fantastic, great." And that was it.
I'm guessing you clicked the link, right? And then you had a look, and what did you see?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely clicked the link. Just double check that was my campaign up there. But definitely clicked the link, and I saw. I think I was on my laptop at the time, and I saw our crowdfunding campaign, and it just looked really good. I was really happy with how it all turned out. The video was there. The video looked great, and I was just excited and raring to go. But at that time, I didn't know that. I thought it was a case of let's just wait for investment to come in. But I was very, very excited on that day one.
And had you attracted any funding yet?
On day one.
Yeah.
I invested, I think I got about £10 in.
Okay. So that had you when you saw that, did you panic? Were you thinking, was that in line with your expectations?
No, I was really excited that £10 came in. But then I think probably like half an hour after that £10 came in, it kind of hit me to say, shit, £10 is in. What do I do? I've still got 74,000 or whatever it is that I need to try and invest and try and get in. And I was like, I've never seen £74,000 in my life. Like, how does that even look like in one go? Like, how do I even get that? So it kind of hit me after that £10 came in, after probably about day 2. I had another sit down with my brother again. And my brother said, how do you plan to market your CrowdQ campaign? And I was like, what do you mean? I don't have to market my CrowdQ campaign. I can just wait for the crowd to come in. He was like, no, mate, you need to market it. So I was like, okay, great. So that's when I had to contact my whole WhatsApp list, take my pride away, text every single person I possibly know and say, hi, mate, I know, I think a few of the ones I said, I know I haven't spoken to you in the past 5 years, but I'm doing a CrowdQ campaign. To launch my business, could you invest or could you donate a bit of money? Wow. And bless so many of them that they actually turned around and said, oh, this project is awesome. Yeah, I'm happy to invest, even if it was £10. It just it was so overwhelming how many people actually showed a bit of belief in me, and that was always a nice feeling to have.
Do you know what? I don't think that many business owners in your position would have had the guts to do that. That's quite a thing, isn't it? To go out to friends and family. Like you say, you've got to take your ego out of it completely. You're basically, I mean, it's not begging, but you're asking for a favor from people and you're asking them to take a gamble on your business. So did you have a huge belief that this would be successful, or was it, in your eyes, was it a gamble that did you feel like you were gambling with their money, or did it feel like a no-brainer?
I mean, I'm a very optimistic person, and I have a strong belief that the business will be very successful. So I was very, I had that strong belief from the very beginning. I still have it now. But at that time, took all my pride away, spoke to these people that I haven't spoken to in absolute donkey years. And, it was, but the great thing is that once they invested, they told their friends, and then they told their friends, and then they told their family. And it was a ripple effect. And that was amazing. And like the whole backstory about it, like I managed to meet up with a lot of these people and a lot of these friends that I haven't spoken to for 3 years or 5 years, and had a coffee with them, had lunch with them, had dinner with them. And it was so nice to catch up with people, because throughout the past 5 years, I've been so busy with life that I've actually put my social life aside, and I still have done so in the past year. I'm not going to go into that for now, but I put my social life aside for the past 5 years that I haven't actually spoken to half these people, and it was amazing to catch up with them.
That's awesome. Do you feel any additional pressure now, knowing that your friends and their friends are invested in the company? Obviously you want it to succeed, but do you feel like an added burden when you're working late and you're like, oh, I should really do this before the end of the day because I've got all these people who have these expectations on me? How does it affect your relationship with your company, I guess?
I don't sleep that night that much nowadays. I kind of figured that out. But I've just touched 30, and I only get 5 hours sleep now. And I get really annoyed when I wake up. I'm like, why have I just had 5 hours sleep? I can still sleep more. No. Yeah, I mean, you have it in the back of your mind that your friends and your family, and you have 144 investors. But if you truly believe in what your company is about, and you truly believe that you have a future for your company, then, and if you have the structure in place at work, then everything else gets taken care of. So one of the main things I have a structure at work, and the main belief in, is that I'm going to make my team happy. I'm going to make sure that my team is extremely happy, has a vision of where they want to go to. Once they're happy, they make members happy, and once members are happy, they'll spend money and they'll make my investors happy. So that's the kind of ladder, you can kind of say, or even hierarchy. But that's how I think a company structure should be. So yeah, I mean, it is in the back of my mind, and it's just a bit of added pressure, like any businessman with investment might have. But if you take care of your structure properly, then you don't need to worry about it too much. And that sleep thing is just because you don't worry, but your mind's always going and your mind's always ticking on, and you don't sleep.
Yeah. It's part of the deal, isn't it? Once you have a business, you give up sleep, you give up social life.
Yeah, it just all goes hand in hand. It's yeah.
And I don't think it gets any better once your team gets bigger either. I thought,
really
we'll get more people
you know?
in and it'll get easier. Nah, it doesn't get easier, it gets harder.
Yeah, thing about delegating, yeah, it's great, but mate, you still don't sleep.
Exactly, yeah. You don't delegate everything.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you ran an event, didn't you, as part of the crowdfunding and as part of the launch? How did you do that? And was that to attract additional investors, or was that purely for the people who had invested in you already?
It was a bit of both, to be honest. So we ran one and we put it onto our. In each pitch, you have a discussion board that you can put stuff into. So you can put things like exciting news about your company, like if you just secured a new partner or whatnot, or if you secured a new deal somewhere. So you put it on that discussion board. So we put an event up. So we created an investors event that we put on Eventbrite for people to get tickets to. And yeah, it was just a case of getting people down to one of our fitness classes and doing like a meet and greet, because it's always good to meet your potential investors. And in terms of promoting it, what we did was we just sent it out in our newsletters. We told our friends about it. We put it on social media, and that's pretty much it. And that's how we promoted it.
That's awesome. So fast forward to today. How long ago was this? Was it that you raised the money?
So we raised it in August 2015.
Okay. So we're about a year and a half or a bit longer since then. So where is the business today? How are things going?
Yeah, the business is doing really well. I think all business owners try and say that. But I mean, we opened our doors on the 8th of February, 2016. So it's just been over a year and a month. We've gone from strength to strength which is probably the best way to put it. We've built a very, very strong team. We've kind of found our footing within the fitness industry and what we're about. We've stuck to our guns from day one. We have made a hell of a lot of mistakes, as businesses do, but we managed to be really quick and overcome those mistakes and make them right again. And that's what we are as a team. And we, in terms of team-wise, we've managed to. I now have a head of operations who looks after all operations within the company for me. I have a brand coordinator now who looks after our social media, our marketing, and our community outreach. And then I also have a studio manager who looks after all aesthetics work. We have two front of house people on our team. And then we have a team of 13 trainers altogether. So we have a team of 19 now.
That's awesome. And I'm guessing none of this would have been possible without the injection of capital from the crowdfunding.
Absolutely. I mean that crowdfunding made, we used most of that to build the place. So to make it, because we took it as an empty shell. So there's nothing in here. We had, there was no walls, there was no floors, no ceilings or anything. We had to get an architect in. We had to get a building team in, build it up from scratch. Then we had to use some of that money to get equipment. And then, and they would just go from there.
That's awesome. Congrats, dude. That's sick. So are you guys profitable now, or do you have can you see profitability like coming up in the near future?
Yeah, absolutely. So we started to make profit now. So a year and a bit later, we started to make profit, which is great. And then me as a business owner, I haven't taken anything out yet. I've reinvested everything to make the company better, whether it's buy new equipment or take on a brand coordinator, or we're going to look to upgrade the studio as well. So I'll look to reinvest if I was to take any money out, I'll reinvest it into that. So, as for me, it's more about making sure that we're building a business that is sustainable and has a long life.
Yeah, that's sick. So for people who are listening, who are thinking about crowdfunding, what would you do differently if you were to do it all again? Would you do anything differently?
I would pitch for more money.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, because it was when we first went for the 75k, I think we were quite tight on what we actually were pitching for. But I think if I was to do it again, I would try and pitch for just a little bit more money, just because when we first started, we didn't have that much working capital. So All the money that came in, we had to pay for rent, rates, and there was so many outgoings, so many unforeseeable outgoings.
Right.
But for me as a business owner, that was a lesson I learned in the beginning. And now that if I was to go crowdfunding again, I know that now, and I know how to ensure that you're not always touching that bottom red line.
Yeah.
So I would definitely, as during this year and a month, I've learned so many lessons, unbelievable. So I could probably give you 1,000 things that I'll probably do differently as a business owner. But for me, I love learning. I love to develop, and I'm fully aware that I'm still a very young business owner. So I'm always looking at ways I can make myself better as a businessman.
Yeah, that's lucky. You're in the right place then.
yeah, just about.
So would you have been happy to give away more equity, or would you have valued yourselves higher? Like what would you have done if you were to ask for more money?
We'd probably have to give away more equity because we had a good valuation. We had a very sensible valuation. So it would have been a case of giving away more equity.
Fair enough. Is there anything that you wish you'd known before you started, other than allowing yourself this kind of, allowing yourself a bit of breathing space for the unforeseen costs that might come up?
Yeah, all those thousands of mistakes I've told you about. I wish I knew all about them. But no. I mean, anything that I wish I knew, I don't know. I mean, there's just so much advice that I've been able to take over the past year and a bit. So it's okay to be patient in some situations. As an entrepreneur, all you want to do is just go. So if you're in a situation and a scenario comes up and you're like, yeah, okay, that will fix it. Just do it and then get over it and then move on to the next one. But it's okay to sometimes, just take a step back, look at the whole situation and learn from it and then move on, but taking your time on it. So, that's probably one of the key things I've definitely learned.
Yeah, totally. I think one of the most amazing things about your story is a lot of people jump into crowdfunding campaigns without any idea of how they're going to market or going to promote, right? They don't really do any market research first, and they just set up a page and then they hope that it succeeds. I think the amazing thing is that's pretty much what you did, but you managed to, once it was live, you still managed to build enough visibility and kind of market it on the fly to get it funding. I think that's incredible, and it's a testament to your personal network and your tenacity, and a kind of unwillingness to see this thing go unfunded. So yeah, nice job, dude. Really inspirational.
Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. But I mean, we previously to that, I mean, we built a business plan, and it took about 4 months for us to build a business plan. So we put a hell of a lot of work into that phase previously to even crowdfunding. So that business plan itself, there was so much stuff that we had to, there were so many mistakes in that business plan that we had to make better, and we had to correct. And we did a hell of a lot of market research about, who else was around, what else other people doing. So the market phase, yeah, absolutely. There were a few things that you couldn't say we winged it in a way, but there was a lot of thought process behind everything that we did, especially in our business.
Yeah, you had the plan in place, and then the marketing stuff you figured out as you went.
No, absolutely.
Cool. Matt, this has been awesome. Thank you so much. Where can people find out a bit more information about you and the business? Yeah, so you can hit me up on Twitter, which is MattLo_official, or you can find us on any Instagram page or Twitter page, and it's at FitMiiBody, which is FitMiiBody, or just come to our website, FitMiiBody.com. Amazing. Thank you for sharing, buddy. Talk to you soon. Thank you, Tim. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Hey guys, Tim here again. If you enjoyed the Exposure Ninja Digital Marketing Podcast, then don't forget to head over to our Facebook page. Just search for Exposure Ninja on Facebook. We share all sorts of digital marketing tips, tricks and advice and case studies, as well as videos and webinars that we run as well. So come over, say hello, and if there's any topics that you want to see us covering in the podcast, just let us know on our Facebook wall.